What is going on, Outriders? Today we're going to be talking about one of the most, if not the most important thing of Outriders Worldslayer, and that is Apocalypse Gear and Apocalypse Tiers. These two things are going to be your main bread and butter when it comes to Outrider Worldslayer. You're going to want to know exactly how it works and what you need to do to start grinding for this amazing loot. So with that being said, let's go and talk about everything Apocalypse, and we're going to get started with the tiers. So what exactly is Apocalypse Tiers? As you may already know, if you guys have been playing the game in the free version or have played the game before, currently in the game, there was a thing called World Tiers, and these were tiers that will be able to level up as you progress throughout the game. And of course, it hit the max level of 30. Well, that is going to be getting replaced with a thing called Apocalypse Tiers. Now, these tiers are an extension of the current World Tier system, and this will allow you to push the boundaries even further of what we currently have right now in the game. Of course, you will need the Worldslayer DLC to progress beyond Apocalypse Tier 15, so theoretically speaking, if you don't have the Worldslayer, you'll still have access to Apocalypse Tier, but you won't be able to progress further than Apocalypse Tier 15. With that being said, guys, what is the max amount of tier system does Apocalypse Tier actually go to? Apocalypse Tier goes all the way up to max 40. Getting all the way to max 40 will give you access to, of course, the brand new gear that should take you to the level cap of the game, which is 70 plus. Now, unlike the World Tier systems, Apocalypse Tier can be leveled up with any type of content that you want to play. So for example, if you want to play vanilla Outriders and want to go play the campaign, want to go farm a boss, you will be able to switch it up and say, I just want Apocalypse Tier to be present right now, and I don't want the World Tier system to be applied. So you could actually farm your Apocalypse Tier like if you were farming your World Tiers, which is pretty amazing because this gives it a ton of replayability, allowing you to not only play the new content to level up your Apocalypse Tier, but also play the old content to level up your World Tier as well. Now, I know the question Timmy and Johnny you might be asking, Laser, how about if I don't like the Apocalypse Tier, can I go back to the World Tiers? The answer to that is yes, you can. Now, I see Jonathan has a question too. You're probably answering, Laser, can I play the Outrider story with Apocalypse Tier? And the answer to that is yes. But there is a caveat to that, Jonathan. You cannot play the expeditions and the Worldslayer content without Apocalypse Tier. You could only play with Apocalypse Tier. So do keep that in mind in case you don't plan on picking up World Tier. Speaking about picking up World Tier, if you plan on picking up the game, use the link down below to make sure you guys purchase the game. It does help me out, so make sure you guys click on that link if you do plan on picking up the game before or after the reviews come out. Alright, so now that you understand how the Apocalypse works, let's talk about the tier system and what you can expect when progressing within the tier system if it's any different than Worldslayer. So let's take a look at this level 2 tier slot, which will give us the following options. When we select this, it's going to have divided into 3 categories. It's going to be divided into enemy bonus, endurance, and empowerment. Now, in enemy bonuses, of course, are things that the enemy's going to have an advantage of you as opposed to you not applying any of these tiers. So here we notice that the enemy level is 32, enemy health is moved to 135, enemy damage multiplier is moved to 101, and there is a status power penalty. Currently right now that's not being applied because it's only tier 2. But eventually as you progress throughout the game and you move up tier systems, that will also be incremented as well. Now, there is a penalty that will be applied, which is called the revive speed duration. Currently right now it's set to 0 at tier 2, but as you progress, this will also be getting incremented. Now, you also get a couple of gains. Now, the gains you get is item level bonus, so that means you're going to be getting a bonus into the number of the items dropping for you guys. There's also going to be a chance for epic items to be apocalyptic, which is only a roughly 1%. Hey, it's better than 0. And you also get a chance for legendary items to be apocalyptic as well. Ascension XP, you get a multiplier of 116, and loot rarity bonus of 250. Now, this is what a tier 2 looks like. Now, we progress a little bit further, that is going to change, and it's going to have more challenges. It's going to have a little bit more gains. So it basically boils down to, hey, do you want a challenge? If you do, make sure you move up in tiers, but you will also gain a big advantage of getting better loot faster and quicker. With that being said, guys, that is how the Apocalypse Tier works. Now, for those of you who are saying, Laser, that's awesome, I like the Apocalypse Tier, but tell me more about the Apocalypse Gear. That is the main thing I want to know because that's the thing that's going to get me and carry me through the game. All right, so boy, am I excited to share this information with you guys. So Apocalypse items, where do you get them? How do they obtain? And how do they actually work? Well, pretty much Apocalypse Tier is tier that drops in either 2 forms. It could either drop in an epic form or a legendary form. So that means purples and legendaries could drop in Apocalypse Gear. Now, what separates this Apocalypse Gear? Well, this Apocalypse Gear has the advantage of coming with a third mod slot. Now, this is selected from a custom pool of mods. What exactly does that mean? That means that there have been some mods that have been discarded because they are too weak sauce, that they do not belong in Apocalypse Gear. This is actually pretty good for us because not only does it make it farming a little bit easier getting those god rolls, because there are certain level 1 mods that do not come within the Apocalypse Gear. So that makes only really good stuff is going to come from here. Now, there is a third mod that will be added to that gear like we said earlier. Unfortunately, this third mod cannot be modified. You can only modify the first 2 mods. The third mod that drops in the bottom, that one cannot be modified. Now, in addition to that, guys, there is a god roll that actually drops with Apocalypse Tears that you're going to need to be paying close attention to when you actually get those to drop. What exactly is that god roll we're talking about? Well, if we notice some of the pictures here of the Apocalypse here, you're going to notice that the Apocalypse here drops with a level 1 mod, a level 2 mod, and on the third slot, it drops with a level 2 mod or a level 1 mod. Now, the god roll will actually drop with a level 3 mod within that third slot, making it an extremely rare item. And they have said that the way you're actually able to get more access to these, even though it's going to be a rare drop, it's by increasing your Apocalypse tiers. So the more you go up in tiers, the more likelihood you will get to get one of these very rare legendary or epic items with a level 3 mod in the third slot, allowing you to go ahead and apply another level 3 mod in another slot, making it a very powerful item. Of course, this is going to pretty much fall down to the end game of end games, because you're going to want to make sure you maximize your gear and bring up your gear up to date. Speaking of bringing your gear up to date, I know what some of you guys are saying, Laser, what about me? I played this game 80 hour plus, 200 hours, 300 hours. I now have a deck of Pyromancer, Trichnomancer, Technomancer, Devastator, and they have all the best gear possible. Does that mean my gear will become obsolete once this comes out? Currently right now, I can't really go into too much detail, but what I could tell you is that you should be able to play with your current gear, but you also want to make sure you're keeping an eye out for when that same gear becomes available as Apocalypse Gear, because that third mod is just going to make your builds change, and it also might change the way you play. So when you're playing Worldslayer, not only do you have to constantly be looking out for a current gear, current playstyle, but now you're going to want to make sure you guys look for this perfect god roll gear so you guys can get the best gear out of all of it. Now, in addition to that, guys, there is a brand new currency called Dust. Now, this particular Dust can only be obtained from Apocalypse Gear when you dismantle it. When it gets dismantled, you will get a little bit of dust. Now, that dust is going to be able to allow you to level up your gear, only Apocalypse Gear, and legendary gear, only Apocalypse Gear, to be able to level it up as you progress. So if you find a really good piece, like you find one of these god rolls, you want to keep it with you, but if you want to level it up, you're going to want to make sure you guys get enough dust to be able to level it up. Now, in the flavor text of the game, it does says that later on, we might get the addition of being able to craft the Apocalypse item. Currently right now, guys, that is not an option, but I did want to mention it because it does say that when you read the Apocalypse item description. So the Apocalypse system is very exciting, very awesome, and it's definitely one that you want to make sure you understand. So as soon as you get to Worldslayer, you start leveling up as quickly as you possibly can. These videos that are popping up right now on the screen should actually help you out with that and your adventure in Outriders. Not only will it help you put the perfect builds together, but it should also help you guys level up quickly as much as you possibly can in Worldslayer. I hope you guys are enjoying our content. If you are, do make these for you guys, drop a comment, drop a like, and if you do plan on picking it up, use that link down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.